Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah Schauer, and today on Block Party, we are joined by Snitchery.
Hi.
All things cosplay, all things cool.
I was wondering what you were going to go for, because there are so many titles.
I know.
Many hats.
Cosplay, and like Damian Haas, he doesn't do cosplay, but people who have like a lot of interests are easier to shop for.
That's so real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave you like quite a few options.
I'm going to give you a set. I really hope you like it. You did say plants, and so if you want to close your eyes.
Okay. This is fun. I feel like I'm getting a gift.
I love this set. Here you go.
Stop! Wait! I wanted to do this one! You're gonna make me fall in love with you. I'm so excited.
It's the succulent set, guys.
So cute. This is perfect for me because succulents are the one type of plant I just can't keep alive.
Oh, yeah.
For anything.
I feel like they're more like desert plants. So I'm going to start opening them as well.
Yeah, real.
So how are you not keeping them alive? Like, I don't know if desert plants are more specific.
I overwater them, dude. Like if I have plants, I'm gonna be so anal about them. Like I'm gonna watch them like a hawk, and at the first sign of distress, my little brain is gonna be like, more water. And like you said, desert plant, not ideal.
Oh no, exactly. It reminds me, have you seen those clips of like little kids carrying like a full jug of like milk, and then they get like nervous and then they just pour it on the ground?
No.
That's me with like plants. I'm just like, kill it. It's already brown. You know, it's dying.
Wait, is there a trick
You can
to this?
punch in the holes on the side.
Crazy.
All right, so there's 3 books for the 3 different flowers, and I think you can just start you start with book number 1.
I was gonna say that's crazy, actually.
What?
If you could start anywhere.
Oh yeah,
Open world Legos.
Just dump all of them out. Snitchery is known for her cosplay, and where did you get started with that?
So probably 2018. I've always thought cosplay was really cool, but I was super intimidated by it. And I also had an attempt and massive failure at like getting a sewing machine and learning to sew, like that whole song and dance. So it was always something I kind of admired, but something I was way too intimidated to do. And then I shaved my head right before Halloween in 2018. Yeah. And I was like, this is kind of an opportunity. Like if there's ever a time to be sort of silly and dress up, it's kind of right now. So I did Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh my gosh. How'd that go?
It's honestly really cute. Like it's back in the age where everybody's photos were so over edited and face tuned that truly the thought of looking at it now like gives me hives. But at the time it was definitely the moment.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I imagine that like when I hear like drag queens talk about like their start and they always like review their first looks and you're like, oh my God, no offense, but that's like horrifying.
Oh, it's so disturbing, honestly. But like I had the right idea, you know?
Yeah.
It was still creative. Like if nothing else, one thing about my content is that I've always gone for it. Yeah. You know, even when I wasn't very good, I was still going for it. So I can respect that for my former self.
No, seriously. I think that's something that I really admire about your work is that it's like consistent. It's consistent and it's great quality. And I especially, I know that you've been doing this a while now. I feel like sometimes I go in and out of motivation, and you and a couple other people, it's just so consistent and so good. And I'm like, how do you get the drive to do that? You know, where does that work ethic come from?
You know, what's so funny is that I don't consider myself consistent at all. Really? I feel like that's my biggest like flaw almost as a content creator, is that I also get so burnt out. And especially now in the age of like TikTok where you're expected to post 4 times a day. Like that's just never been me. I've always been somebody who's a little bit more, I mean, hopefully like quality over quantity. Yeah. So I do disappear from social media like often. I think I've gotten a little bit better about it now because I've done so many characters that there's a lot of stuff that I haven't posted on like different platforms or like content I can still use or things that maybe I didn't love at the time that I can use now. And I'm so used to cosplaying. It's, you know, a little bit easier for me to do, but I would say for most of my career, like I've been incredibly inconsistent.
Oh, I haven't noticed that. So maybe I'm not even consistent with my observing people. But I don't know. You seem pretty steady and it's really inspiring.
Thank you. I honestly, I'm not really, are you like a person who's online chronically? I'm not really online, so I don't even really know what other content creators are doing.
Oh, I mean, my brain has rotted, but like I'm I guess I'm online, but wait, what was the second half of your question?
Like, there are people who are like chronically online. Like, you're like, I don't notice you're gone. Like, I feel like I would never notice if anyone was gone because I'm not really scrolling either,
No, yeah, I definitely like just kind of follow people, but like I don't like stay up to date with everyone's day to day because I feel like that would be incredibly overwhelming. I don't know, like tea channels and like drama channels. I'm like, how do you have the time? I understand that this is your work.
That's real.
To be constantly updated like daily, it seems stressful.
I don't know. I get stressed out by my own job on a daily basis.
Oh,
I can't imagine paying attention to other people's jobs, but like if that's your bag, am I already being, it's in the tiny bag. I'm already embarrassing myself. You're going to finish this 10,000 times faster than me. I know that for a fact.
Maybe. I actually do want to get a Red Bull as well. I have a Pepsi, but I made a mistake once. So are there any cosplays that have been your absolute favorite?
I liked the Minion, and it's funny because I've never actually seen any of those movies.
Really?
Like I've never seen Despicable Me or any of the Minions movies, but I feel like that was the first. I had done like sort of weird cosplay before.
Yeah.
But that was definitely the first one that set me on the track of sort of what I do now, where it's just, I think, really out of pocket and sort of the more bizarre and like crazy and unexpected, the better.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like being a content creator, you do have to have a certain level of delusion.
Oh yeah.
To be, like a big level of delusion to be doing this, because why on earth would I feel comfortable like posting it online? Like, you know what I mean? Like should be such an unbearable thought. And it just went really well and it was chill and I found it way more fun than anything I had done before. So
you do have to be like, I had a question one time from this girl who meant this very genuinely. She was like, how are you not embarrassed?
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, I know realistically I'm making a fool of myself, but like if I was constantly worrying about how people perceive me and not in a way that benefits my content, that would just be, again, like an overwhelming thing to think about all the time, you know?
I mean, we couldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Like there's no way. If you were even like partially aware,
at
least for me, of how I was being perceived outside of just like, I'm making something cool and tossing it up. I mean, there's no chance.
You have to be completely oblivious sometimes, guys. What has been the fan favorite when it came to like cosplay?
A lot of people reference the Scream cosplay I did.
Oh, yeah.
Which is super nice. It's like my most viewed content ever on TikTok, but it's also my lowest effort cosplay I've literally ever done.
Oh, my God.
Like it was a Scream mask and I was just in black underwear, and I think it was just at a time where like people weren't necessarily being that like kind of like cheeky or risque in that way surrounding Halloween content.
Isn't that kind of, I don't know if it's upsetting to me, but it's always the lowest effort content that blows up.
It's so, I mean, it's not frustrating, I guess, because like cool,
whatever,
but it is like, man.
Sometimes I'll write jokes and I'm like, no one's gonna like this. This is garbage. And I put it out there and everyone's like, Sarah, you've done it again. And I'm like, what the hell?
Raising the bar. Honestly, and like, I am such a novice when it comes to comedy. I know pretty much, like you are probably the only comedian I follow.
Oh, really?
Honestly, yeah. And I do watch your comedy stuff. Like, I think you're very funny just as a person.
Thank you.
I was so excited to meet you because I think you're funny. But how do you balance comedy with like content, because you do stand-up comedy now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That has to feel so different.
It does, in that since I've been doing comedy online for so long, a lot of my jokes are just repurposed from stories I've told on the internet. But the thing that comes the least natural to me when I'm on stage is on the internet, you're supposed to get the entire story out in one breath.
Right.
But when you're on stage, you're supposed to take a break and let people laugh. And some of the stories, the points in which people start laughing, I'm like, that was the funny part? I was like, oh my God, when I posted this online, like I would have never guessed that that's what people were resonating with at the time. I think I did screw up. Wow. I done goofed. But I have been in the hospital for a panic attack But yours was GERD.
Mine was GERD, yeah.
And it was kind of embarrassing. This is actually part of my stand-up set. But when I went to the hospital for the panic attack, they needed the male nurse, because it's 2023, men can be nurses. And he was like, I need to lift up your shirt. And I just hadn't been touched by a man in so long that I was like, I got like really self-conscious. I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I don't work out much. And he's like, don't worry, I've seen worse.
Oh my God.
And I was like, how dare you? And
oh my God.
But then he was like, I work in the emergency room. I'm not saying you're out of shape. I'm saying like people have broken legs, you know?
I understood what he meant, but sir, if you need to clarify.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
You should have been like, your body's beautiful.
Right?
I need to take your vitals. Please. No, but what does that say about the state of the world that I'm getting self-conscious if I'm potentially having a heart attack?
Bro, I had similar thoughts in the hospital. I was so embarrassed because I was like, and I was like, I'm in the emergency room, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's okay.
Oh, no, same. Oh, God, I always worry about that if I look like absolute crap while I'm driving. I'm like, if someone hits me right now and they're going to pull me out and I look like, I look like this.
Stop.
Okay, I don't know if this is even quantifiable, but what is your like silliest besides the minion? Like, what is something that when you were looking in the mirror, you were like, I can't believe I'm doing this?
I mean, funnily enough, Handsome Squidward was one of them.
Yeah,
because I think anytime I'm bald.
Oh yeah,
like kind of. But what's crazy is I love how I look bald.
Yeah,
like I think I look better bald than with any hairstyle. I wish it was more socially acceptable for women to just be completely like skinhead bald like it is for men, because if I thought I would get the same societal treatment and could just have no hair, like I would be a naked mole rat. So I think it's more the idea of looking in the mirror and being like I look really good. Yeah. As like Walter White right now, or like with a beard with facial hair. It's led me to some confusing thoughts on gender, because I'm just like, why do I feel like I look so much better? Oh yeah. Like as a dude, like I just feel more at home, which is kind of why I'm excited to cut my hair too.
No, I totally get that. This is it's kind of crazy because like, I mean, when you dress up, it is kind of like a performance, like drag. And I do see drag artists transform when they put on, you know, the character, the costume that they've created. Like, I had this character named Myrtle Beef, who is this deep Southern, like, just, you know, in a bikini on the back of a Harley at, you know, Myrtle Beach Biker Weekend. And she's just so gaudy. And I'm like, but when I dress up in her stuff, I'm like, I feel so powerful right now. You know, I'm like, I realistically would not wear this out of the house, maybe. Sure. But I'm like, the fact that I'm someone else, I mean, that's not the same as how you feel about gender, but like when I can understand stepping into like a different mentality when you dress up as someone else.
Does that ever make you want to dress that way out of the house?
Oh yeah, when I turn 30, I am going to just become like a Jennifer Coolidge type.
Oh, stop. I'm living for that.
Fake tan, like long nails, just chunky costume jewelry. Everything is clanking when I'm walking down the street.
Why are we waiting for 30?
You're right.
Start that right now.
No, you're right.
Imagine if you would just open the door when I got here and you were just like Coolidge out. I would have screamed. That would have been amazing.
Do you use like prosthetic stuff for your cosplay?
Like like SFX makeup and stuff like that? Like the baby version.
Okay.
Like I would say prosthetic light. Like I'll use liquid latex and stuff, but it's really just to apply. Like if I need to add like a nose to a character or something. I know there are like I don't know. I've got an ego, like enough of an ego, but I just recognize with anything, with makeup or with cosplay or with all of that, I have a really hard time not looking at like what I do and then looking at what other people do and being how can I even consider myself a cosplayer? Because like the stuff that other creators are able to pull off with things like prosthetics or like armor building, even sewing, like I'm very crafty with it almost. But I also think that's sort of helped grow my audience into what it is, because I've run into a lot of people or gotten a lot of messages from people who are like, you know, you've helped me feel like cosplay can be more accessible. It is just a little bit more low key. But yeah, I would say like the baby version. of prosthetics.
I totally understand that because I feel like I mean, a lot of content, like even just with like Legos, is not accessible. Like most of the bigger sets are hundreds of dollars.
Sure.
And so I kind of, with this series now, I want to do like, I mean, they're still expensive, but the under $100 so people can start to build their collections. But with cosplay, like I've seen people like make forms out of like chicken wire and, you know, they're like welding and I'm like, oh, good God.
Right.
But I mean,
so impressive.
Yeah, it is truly impressive. I also like kind of feel bad for those creators sometimes though, because there's so much effort and money invested in their art when then they finally create like the piece and then people are like, so what's next, you know? And they're like,
in like today's day and age on social media, I feel like it just doesn't, not that it doesn't work, but like there's just such a demand for new to keep up with.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I think that's also maybe why my career trajectory has been the way that it is. Oh my gosh, this is hard with nails. Is that like, because my cosplay is a little bit sillier, a little bit goofier, and a little bit more accessible. I'm able to do a lot of it. Like I've done at this point probably like 250, 300 characters, which is obviously very different from somebody who is spending an entire year, 6 months on like one just absolutely incredible costume that they then like wear to cons.
Yeah. Also, I would just worry about like the storage of costumes at a certain point.
Oh yeah.
Like what do your closets even look like?
I mean, it's just bins on bins, man.
Yeah.
It's honestly, and like I'm not diagnosed with anything, but I certainly have either a touch of autism or like ADHD, something that has just my entire life kept me from being able to maintain a clean space. Yeah. I'm an incredibly messy person and I am deeply task avoidant. Like there is just nothing that's going to allow me to keep my space clean. So that on top of the costumes.
Oh my God.
Recipe for disaster. I'm not even going to lie to you. They typically just sit like all over my floor and just kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Just vibe together. You know, I'm just in my creative space, in my nest.
Well, I mean, if you were ever on an episode of like Hoarders Buried Alive, I think it'd be the most interesting episode to date.
I should go. In all seriousness, like if somebody wanted to organize my life, I would proudly bear my shame to the world.
Oh, yeah.
For content or not for content. Like, please just help me.
You should team up with one of those content creators who like cleans houses for a living.
I really should.
And then you guys could do like a collab and you get to like relax from like cosplay content. Well, it is cosplay content, but it's more like the organization of it.
Exactly.
And that would be like
it would truly help me.
Yeah, a fun branch of stuff. Hey guys, I'm thinking about starting a Patreon because I do end up filming for a long time with a lot of people. So let me know if you'd like to see that because there's going to be bonus content and goofs and swearing. No, but let me know if I should start a Patreon.
Dude, I want to see a Patreon.
Really?
I want to see, yeah.
I would love that. I feel like it's quite easy with the sheer amount of content because this is cut down into like 30 to 45 minutes. And so since we're filming for hours, there's a lot of like my friend Damian Haas, he was here for like 8 hours and we were filming. Crazy. And he lied to me because he's a streamer and he was like, I can like game and talk at the same time. And then we were doing Legos. He was like, this is so hard.
Disaster.
Yeah. And I was like, I had faith in you. But we made it part 1, part 2. But yeah, there's so much room for extra content. I also am deciding, like, I kind of want to announce the sets I'm building a week in advance to give people an opportunity to buy the set.
That's fun.
I know, but then I also ruin the surprise of like, I guess I wouldn't say who the guest is, but I also want to surprise them with the sets, but guys, let me know if I should announce the sets a week in advance.
That was a priceless moment for me. Like selfishly, I did love it.
What?
Being gifted.
Oh yeah.
Being surprised with the set.
That's just like, then I guess I would just have to tell the guest, don't check any of my social media, but that would go on my Patreon. But I am done with... This is actually kind of disturbing.
Gosh, you're moving. This is crazy.
So, like, where do you see yourself going with cosplay? Like, is it just you just want to keep creating? Do you have like another idea in mind or like a series? You know,
with cosplay or just with like You know, honestly, I feel like the cosplay train just kind of like keeps chugging. Like, I feel like I'm constantly rotating. Like I'm gonna do a 5 Nights at Freddy's. Probably series coming up. I just posted one today. So there's a lot of, like I said, I've done so many characters. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to be fancy with these Legos and it's not working. I've done so many characters that there's a lot of like like if I've done 5 SpongeBob characters, there's 200 more. You know what I mean? There's just so much media and so many like different IPs out there. So I don't know. I lied. I do have a big cosplay project coming up. Wow, that was such a lie that I have not announced yet, that I can't talk about yet. But that is it's perhaps a podcast of my own.
Oh my God.
Yeah, with a friend.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there is a cosplay project, actually. There is a development for cosplay for the first time in like 5 years.
Well, guys, you heard it here first. Subscribe to my Patreon and find out no. But
there's a big reveal.
And you're like, I can't tell you, but that is so cool. I'm interested to like see how you channel it into a podcast, because I know a lot of cosplay is largely visual, like, and so I'm interested to see what that is. Obviously, I'll watch or listen or both.
Thanks. Thanks. It will be a both. I'm pretty excited. I did my first cosplay at a convention this year, so I feel like I'm just weirdly finally now expanding past like my closet door, which is mostly, or my bathroom door or my bedroom door, which are the 3 locations that Snitchery cosplay has been seen thus far.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to branch out. I feel like it's time, you know?
No, exactly. And it's always so like, I mean, I do content like with my phone, and it was like weird like going on tour and stand up and like seeing people in person. So I'm excited for you, because it's always, you meet the people. I mean, I'm sure you've done cons and like you've met like fans, but it's always like weird, like, oh my God, dude, you're like a real person, you know?
It's like, I feel so lucky. I don't know. I hope your experience has been the same. But the people I've met have just been so nice, like so chill, so cool. Like every time someone like comes up to me, whether it's at a convention or just like at a restaurant or whatever, and tells me they like my stuff, I'm always like, we would literally be friends. It's so like, I feel like my audience is all me. It's so bizarre. No,
yeah, I totally get that. My audience is again, people I'd be friends with, because I feel like a lot of my audience has special interests. Like when I went on tour, I would literally tweet, hey guys, I'm going to a lesbian bar. And then my fans would come up to me at the lesbian bar and they're like, do you like Lady Gaga? Here's a picture. and like they were like, do you like dinosaurs? And they would talk to me. And I know that's like, but it's kind of like funny. It's like they're just cool people who have like,
that's awesome.
You like stuff, I know stuff. And I'm like, hell yeah, dude, lay it on me. But yeah, I'm super excited for your projects. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy that you have a pretty nice audience. I feel like we're both blessed with like pretty chill people, you know?
For sure. I feel like that's because we're chill people too, you know?
Yeah, that is true. Like if we were more like stress inducing, it would make sense if our audiences were just so stressful.
I am easily stress induced, but like hopefully not stress.
Yeah, stress inducing. You just like absorb it. You don't like really give it out.
I do so much. I'm so tired.
Seriously, I feel like I'm a sponge. Like I don't want to ever, I mean, I'm not an empath, but like when I notice someone else is stressed, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta worry now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It does. It like very much derails the day.
Yeah.
I feel like for me too, there's not like I've never been a person with a ton of friends, but the friends and like family I do have, I'm super close to. So if like a person I really care about is going through it, I'm gonna be stressing. Like, I just can't help it, you know?
No, exactly.
There's not that many places I'm expending my energy.
I always like feel like my issue with when my friends or family are stressed is that I want to solve the problem, and it takes me like a second to step back and be like, okay, they're smart people. I'm a smart person. They know what to do and I know what to do, but like I just have to let them feel their feelings. That's always something that I like have to consciously like, don't give them a solution, just like hear them out, even if it like burns, you know, it's like holding in I was gonna say fart. Like, you just have to let people feel their feelings.
I'm so bad at that when it comes to especially my family, because like I care so much.
Yeah.
I need to fix it right now, and like selfishly I need to know you're okay so that I can be okay, because now this is my life until further notice.
Yeah.
But that's so real. They are just completely like, they're fully capable people.
Yeah. It's like, you've survived this long. You have a job and a home. I know you can get through this, but I don't know. It's just horrible anxiety. But I actually feel like my anxiety's gotten under control in the past couple of years. How do you feel about your anxiety levels?
I think mine's gotten a lot better too. I think a lot of my anxiety was social, and it was something that I didn't really understand. Like, I wouldn't have called it social anxiety because I was like, it doesn't really align with that. But I just always felt so uncomfortable in social situations. Yeah. And I would constantly have this like running monologue only in social situations. And I don't know, I would just like, even if it was a friend who I freaking adored and saw all the time, unless it was one of my like 4 people, I would just be so anxious even to grab dinner with them or something. And I was like, dude, what is this? Because even then I felt like, I was like, I'm a pretty confident person, like whatever. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the first thing that I saw online that made me think like, oh, maybe I do have autism, because it sounded so much like masking to me. And when I stopped doing that, it did become a lot easier to be in social situations. It's so funny. I had a friend recently tell me like I was just staring off into space and my eyes were going in different directions. And I feel like I do that a lot. Yeah. In like group settings. And I mentioned it to my other friend and she was like, oh no, yeah, you do that all the time. Just like, stare off into space. Yeah, like I'll just be like in groups. But honestly, it helps me because I feel like now I give myself space to like check in with myself and be kind of chill. Like I don't get as stressed. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I feel like it's more well managed. I had a really, really, really hard year last year. I just was dealing with like so much professionally and personally. Mm-hmm. And it was the most stress I'd ever dealt with in my life. And I think comparatively, anything would have been kind of like anything would have chilled out my nervous system this year. Just removing some of those external stressors. Mm-hmm. So I've kind of been enjoying like definitely having lessened anxiety. Yeah. Right now.
Well, that's amazing.
What have you done to help yours?
Anxiety medication. I stopped. Well, getting sober. Like I didn't realize. Well, this is embarrassing. I went to. Also, my audience hates when well, they don't hate when I talk about it, but like drinking a lot causes horrible hangovers, and that's anxiety, and it just turns into paranoia, and it's kind of just like cyclical. And so when I cut that out, I felt a lot more centered, and I also just like in social situations, I realized that everyone wants to be there, like people, if they're good people, they're not trying to get something out of the conversation. They don't need to be entertained. And I've noticed that that's a huge thing with masking is where like, I feel like I should be like a jester and, make everyone laugh all the time or else they're not having fun. But in reality, like most well-adjusted people don't go into a conversation thinking like this person's going to entertain me, They just want to talk. And that's what I always like wrestle with. And so I just realized like if someone doesn't want to talk to me like in this social situation, then they're just it'll be fine,
Yeah, that's so real. I do find myself trying to entertain or like over affirm almost. Yeah. Like I'll try to be like over engaged in the conversation. Oh yeah. To the point where like I definitely freak people out. Oh yeah. Like I'm trying to show you like I'm really paying attention, like I'm really present, and chilling back on that, I think.
Oh no, exactly.
It's helped a lot. It's been so weird because I was in a long-term relationship for years, and like during that relationship and after is sort of when I started to figure all this out. And I think my personality has changed a lot in the past couple of years to be a lot more relaxed and a lot more chilled out. And I mean, I think changed for like who I am actually at my center if I'm not like stressed and pretending to like, be something I'm not or whatever. But dating before I was in this relationship, I was like, just I could not, like so freaking stressed about it. I would get so much anxiety. Like I would have to like chug a glass of wine before I went on the first date. Like just absolutely no semblance of like control over what I was doing. And after the relationship, when I went on dates, I was like, wow, like I'm so much more like comfortable now. It must be because like I was in this relationship and now I have romantic experience. But I literally think it's just because like I'm not masking anymore. Yeah. Like I just show up and I'm just like, well, like whatever comes out of this. Yeah. Pretty much never anything because I'm so picky. Like will come out of it. I don't know. It's made it much more fun.
Exactly. You did say what something that you do is like stare off into space.
Oh my God, yeah.
Something I'm so deeply, because the internet has made me so self-conscious about it. It's like one of those things that I didn't even know to be insecure about. So like a lot of people with autism, there is no look, but like have like almost no tension in this part of their face. So like your mouth moves, but like when you laugh, your eyes kind of stay the same. And so like people said I had like the vacant stare of a mule.
The what?
The vacant stare of a mule. Like
you don't.
Thank you. I have dead eyes, and so like whenever I watch footage back of myself, I'm like, they're right. My eyes aren't moving, so I make like an active effort to move my eyes, like when I'm talking to people, and they're like, "What the hell is happening?
Are you okay?"
Because in my mind, I'm like talking, and I'm like, I haven't blinked in a while. Oh my god! And so it's one of my fun qualities.
Do you think that dead-eyed like a mule?
Yeah.
You think that's the worst, like the comment you've gotten online that has made you like change the most almost? Do you know what I mean? Like, have you ever gotten any other comments where you're like, I need to change my behavior, I need to change the way I look? Like, has anything ever gotten to you like that?
Mostly, well, actually, not really. I mean, I've gotten the odd, you're ugly. Blah, blah, blah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but I think the amount of comments that are starting to come in about, maybe I'm just drawing attention to it, is how my eyes don't move or like my lack of expression sometimes. I'm like, that's made me more like super self-conscious. I want to be like, yeah, like reassuring. But I mean, there's nothing. Well, when I was on Vine, I overplucked my eyebrows and they were like, your eyebrows look like sperm. And that me up. And so I
do it.
I corrected that. So bullying does work sometimes. What about you? Has there been a comment that just shifted the way you thought about yourself?
Online one time when I was in like the real midst of cosplaying all the time, someone commented and they said she only has one move. She just has the point. And I was like, what the f*** are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then I looked back at all of my cosplays and every single cosplay, I would be like it was so bad. It was so embarrassing once I saw it. But the only, this just happened like kind of recently. I, Succession. I don't know if you watch Succession, but Kendall Roy.
Yes.
Played by Jeremy Strong. So he has like a pretty long face. I feel like that's his sort of defining. Like he has a pretty long face.
Yeah.
And I also have a pretty long face. And I've always been self-conscious about the distance between like my nose and my upper lip. I've always felt like that's really long. And like that I just have like kind of like a sagging this area. But like I've also put it to the back of my mind. Like it's not something I think about all the time. It's just been like, oh, like I have like kind of a long face in that area. Tell me why I went on a date with this guy.
Oh no.
To a museum and we're driving back to my house afterwards and we're talking. I mentioned something about Succession and my family and I had this like Succession party. That's really cute.
Yeah.
It's really good. I'm excited. Where we all dressed up as characters and he asked me who I dressed up as and I said I dressed up as Kendall. And this man like in the car leaps back as he's driving and looks at me and goes, "That's who it is. That's your celebrity doppelganger." I was like,
oh God.
No. Yeah. Like no.
He's like,
literally,
you're Kendall.
Oh my God. So I immediately got filler.
Yeah.
Right here. Like not necessarily because he had said it.
Yeah.
It could have been anyone, it could have been anything, but it was something that I had wanted to do that was then confirmed.
Oh yeah.
You know those times where it's like, I have an insecurity, but I'm sure no one notices.
Okay, yeah.
And then it's just hammered in. It's like, oh, actually everybody sees this. But I don't know. I've talked a lot on my like YouTube channels about cosmetic work and stuff like that. And I think I'm a real proponent of it if you're doing it in a healthy way. As far as like, I just dropped a Lego.
Yeah, I made the mistake of getting super colorful carpet right beneath my Lego set.
But yeah, I feel like with stuff like filler or anything like that, it's scary on the one hand. And the reason I don't like tell people you should go and get it to like fix your problems is because like just medically, I feel like it hasn't really been around long enough for us to necessarily know the long-term effects. And I feel like it can be really like psychologically dangerous. And you know, there's so many negatives, but I don't know. I also got a boob lift and that like really changed my life for the better. Like I've talked about that extensively and just how it's allowed me to sort of like live my life much easier.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like it kind of depends. What's your take on like cosmetic enhancements, all that.
I think in a perfect world, I mean, for the most part with a lot of cosmetic enhancements, we obviously all know that it's like beauty standards, whatever. But there's two things like can be happening at once where it's like, I mean, we do like if you're doing it for yourself, whether that's motivated by anything or not, I think it's your body, you know? Like I see beauty, like any sort of enhancement in the same realm as like tattoos. It's like it's on your body and you should choose, like get whatever you want. If it makes you happier, it doesn't matter if any sort of motivation behind that is like maybe a little bit flawed, and I'm not saying yours is. I think do it. You know, don't ever do it for someone else. If you're doing it for yourself, it truly just go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
it's hard to parse out though, because it's like,
yeah,
there's never going to be a pure motivation that exists like in a vacuum outside of societal pressure, which is honestly why like I feel like I had my time of talking about cosmetic enhancements online, because I felt for a really long time, and I still do feel like it's important to be like transparent about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I also recognize that, well, number one, up until this filler, I hadn't gotten in years. Mm-hmm. But I also recognize like talking about this is probably leading more people to do this, even if I'm talking about how I wouldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
There are still going to be people who look at my before and after and like what it looks like with filler better. So I still felt like talking about it and bringing attention to it would lead more people to get stuff like that done.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of tricky. I don't know.
It truly is tricky because you want to be transparent as a content creator. But I think this is where my main type of content is comedy and Legos, and yours is cosplay. Mm-hmm. And so I actually feel like there's less responsibility on our shoulders, because if our main type of content was like health and wellness and body acceptance, that sort of thing, I feel like it would be going against directly like what your type of content is. But I think if it's honestly like fine, like, because you're not influencing at that point. Your main type of influence is not in the body modification world, other than in the sort of like cosplay way. I saw someone comment on one of my comedy videos one time, I love seeing my body type represented, and I commented back like, I'm not like a fitness influencer, I'm not like a model, my main type of content is comedy. If I was a man, you would just hear my jokes and it would be about the jokes. But since I'm not, you're taking every part of me into consideration, and that's not what I'm here for. So if I do alter my body, or if I do look a certain way, like, and I'm sorry if that does influence you, but that's not the content I put out, you know? For sure. So I feel less guilty if I do modify my body and I do talk about it, because I know I'm predominantly here for Legos and comedy. And yeah, if my body changes, that's still not what I'm posting online.
That makes sense. Yeah. I think maybe that's why I felt not even necessarily a responsibility, but like body modifications, whether it's tattoos or piercings or like anything, is really interesting to me. So for a long time online, I just like, not even that I really had that much done, but if I did and have had anything done, I have talked about it, because I don't know, I just feel like it's not a responsibility, but it's almost like I know what I was looking for when I was considering getting these things done when I was younger. And on the one hand, I wish that I had somebody there to be like, here are some of the negatives. Like, it's not all, roses or whatever. But then I think like, what if you're just sitting on YouTube and you're not even thinking about filler, and you see me saying like why I wouldn't get filler again? Yeah, I do. You know what I mean? But like, if you see that, are you going to click on it and be like, wait, maybe this is, I don't know. It's complicated.
No, it is. But also, like, at the end of the day, you can't control other people. That's true. Yeah, that's what we learn in, like, addiction sort of things. But, like, you can, like, influencers do influence. But if you're giving a fully fleshed out, like, pros and cons list, and I wouldn't do this again, you're not telling people go do it, And so at the end of the day, the decision is theirs, because they are adults. I mean, if you look at your demographics and you're like, holy crap, this is all 13-year-olds.
I mean, right. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Like my audience is all adults.
Yeah. And so like we're not like, not all women are just easily influenced children. So it's like they make their own fully conscious decisions. But I would also say for you, since you have so many visible tattoos and piercings, that it would be expected that you would be drawn more to body modification.
For sure.
So for anyone to see you as how you present every day and be like, what? Like she decided to get filler. It actually would not make sense.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
Like, why would I touch every other inch of my body and then just never? And I think a lot of my audience does. Like they were kind of along that filler journey with me. It was a couple of years ago now. And I really wrestled with it because I was like, man, it's not something I wanted to do again. Just kind of on like, it was almost on the principle, the idea that I had said online that I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I was like, well, now if I do, like, is that like going back on my word or is that? But then I was like, it was literally just a decision you made for yourself. Like it wasn't a promise to anybody else. And I feel like as a content creator, there's this weird idea that like, I don't know, like like we've said, we have really cool audiences and our audiences, I think, like just speaking for myself, I think they just want me to be happy and chill. Like I've felt that energy from the beginning that I think people are just like, if anything, I have, a lot of people following me who are also interested in body modification. So it's never felt like, I don't know. It's like I said, it's felt less like a responsibility and more like, honestly, an interest.
Yeah. No, exactly. I think we're raised in this Judeo-Christian society. I'm just trying to, we always see good versus evil, black versus white. Like there's only two options, whether like if you are like, I'm never doing this ever again and you change your mind, it's like, oh, now that's bad. But people truly do forget about change and neutrality. Like neutral is like the middle ground for this, where like a lot of people who are well adjusted watching content, they'll see a content creator declare something like, I said back in the day that I was bi and now I'm identify as lesbian. And so I don't feel like I'm going back on my word. I feel like anyone who's well-adjusted, who has followed you and genuinely enjoys your stuff, knows that people change,
right.
And
that's so true.
Yeah, and your audience will know that you're going to change. And I mean, I could have declared something a couple years ago and now I'm doing the complete opposite of that. And I think anyone watching this is like, I've definitely done that in my life. Where like, I'm never going to do this again. There you go.
Yeah, life is long, man. I mean, hopefully.
And I mean, that's like what your audience members would be like, I feel that. Like, I've done that, I said I wasn't going to get Botox on my forehead. Look at me. Can't move my eyebrows.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel like, the thing too is like you said, for me, it's adults following me. It's people who've like, we've been on the internet for a while. So it's mostly people who have grown up with me and are now like in their late 20s. It's like, it's kind of Botox hours, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not for everybody. And it's not like, I think I have a true stance of body neutrality when it comes to like enhancements or adjustments. And I also think I'm a big mind your own businesser.
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe to a fault. I just feel like which is weird for a content creator, but I feel like I just kind of do my own thing and everybody else kind of does their own thing. And why are we worried about anybody else's thing,
Yeah. And I imagine, like you said, I imagine a lot of your audience really resonates with that, especially a lot of your audience is probably tattooed or interested in cosplay, which means they're creatively inclined. Cosplay is very popular, but like it's not like everyone like mainstream, And so I feel like your audience is super understanding of like if you change something, they're like, we're literally also changing as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Change is just a part of life, honestly. And I like in today's age with piercings and tattoos and hair dye and all of that, I think body modifications will kind of be looked at similarly. But again, there's the vein of like, oh, we don't really know how. They're so new.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff like filler, even Botox, like comparatively to other like things in science, I guess. Like it's pretty new. So I think that's the only thing that keeps me from being full on like, I want to change everything just for fun. Is that like I really shy away from that kind of stuff now in general because you just don't know. Like my sense of mortality has also affected that kind of stuff where I'm just like, like I wonder.
No, exactly. Also, guys, look. I finished this one.
That's so impressive.
Isn't it cute?
That's so cute.
Guys, I would strongly recommend getting the succulent sets. You will not regret it.
How do you feel about being recognizable in public as somebody who's dealt with anxiety? Like, did your anxiety manifest in any way that to like affect that?
Luckily, my fans are just as anxious.
Real.
So, and that's like mirroring, like I'm mirroring their panic attack. Like I wasn't anxious when you came up, but now I am. But I mean, I don't mind it. The only thing is sometimes I don't really like dress up a lot, like when I'm just doing like out and about tasks, so I look like crap.
Every time.
Yeah, and they're like, Sarah? And I'm like, oh my God, you had to see me right now.
And then they'll be like, you're so pretty in person. And I'm like, you're lying, bro. I know you're lying. Like, I appreciate it. Yeah. But
wait, how do you feel about meeting your fans? Like, do you feel like, I mean, what's the experience like?
Oh, I've literally only ever had good experiences. Like it sounds so corny, but like so often it literally does make my day to meet people because the people I meet are so nice. Like the last person I met in public, she had like these little crochet strawberries that she made and she gave me one and I'm like, damn, y'all are actually just so cool.
Yeah.
But I think I do struggle with the idea that I might be being watched.
Oh yeah.
I don't like that. Like anyone who's ever come up to me,
you don't like being stalked?
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird feeling to think like, you catch the eye of someone in a restaurant and you like see them fully process like, oh, I know that that's you.
Yeah.
And then like, they'll continue to stare. Like I would always rather somebody comes up and just says hi because like that's gonna be really chill and normal. But like a couple of times I've had people like take pictures of me while I'm out and like send them to me over DM and be like, "Was this you?" And it's like, yeah. Like, oh no!
It's like you from like 3 feet away, and you're like, right? Yeah, that is me actually.
There's like an under chin angle.
No, exactly, dude. I mean, yeah, I've only really had like a couple creepy encounters with people online. It usually since I'm a lesbian, but when I was like straight identifying online, men were following me more and they were more creepy. The sweetest, creepiest gift I've ever gotten was I used to be obsessed with executive producer Dick Wolf.
Of course.
And someone got me a script of an episode and it was signed by the entire cast.
Oh, wow.
But it was sent to my work. And not my P.O. box. I never put that address out there. And it was like in a manila envelope.
Stop. And anthrax.
I was like, okay, I'm absolutely framing it. But this is terrifying.
Did you know who sent it?
No.
That's crazy.
There was like no. And I was like, that's terrifying. But what about you? You ever gotten something absolutely disturbing in the mail?
I haven't. I've never put any kind of address of mine out. Yeah. I am extremely nervous about stuff like that, and it's somewhat unfounded because I've never had any kind of like traumatic stalker experience. Like I've certainly had, people before that have like blasted my DMs every day for like years, but I think that kind of just comes with the territory of I've never felt unsafe from like any one singular person's actions, but I like don't even mention the area of LA I live in. It took me a long time to even say I moved to LA. Like anytime I'm at like a concert or if I'm at a convention or something, I'll never post that I'm there if I'm there. Like I'll always wait until I'm gone. So I don't know. I don't know why I'm so freaked out about it. I think just like hearing stories from my friends and stuff.
No, exactly. But it's better to be safe than sorry. Because sometimes I see like these well-intentioned women online like post a like, this is my house and like this is how I've decorated it, and you can see clearly out the window and right behind it is like a very recognizable billboard.
Exactly.
And I want to be like, hey, I want to DM them like I'm not a creep, but I absolutely could find out where you live right now. And I just worry about it because I mean, and I also haven't helped myself like with the amount of true crime documentaries I watch.
Yeah. It's not great. It's really not great.
It's so easy to find people, and it's genuinely, so it's better that you're keeping it a secret.
For sure.
I would throw people off the track, like the trail, and be like, I moved to Tallahassee or something. And like you just move like every 3 months. Your stalker's like, where the hell is she?
I think too, though, people like my audience, it's kind of similar to what you said about like filler. If, body modifications and lifestyle and stuff isn't your bag, then you don't necessarily have to talk about it. I am always just going to be chatting shit or cosplaying in front of a white wall. So I don't think people necessarily care.
Yeah.
Like what my living situation is like. Or like maybe they do. I don't know. But I've always told myself it's okay to be like private about that kind of stuff. It is just a safety thing.
Yeah. It really is. And since the majority of our audiences are likely women, they get it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And it'd be weird if you guys started demanding to know where we lived or to throw in like clues.
I'm so close to being done. Please be proud.
I am incredibly proud. And I was just worrying because you said you would have a hard out at 4:30 and it's not even 4. So
oh, hell great. Yeah. Oh my God.
I think you're actually the fastest guest I've had.
Oh, stop. Don't flatter me like that.
No, you seriously have. Like
wow.
It's incredible. All right, guys. Well, we both have finished our sets, and aren't they adorable? Look at that. Just so cute.
I'm pretty proud.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good.
You did incredible. Yeah. So speedy. What's your final review on this set?
Like numerical? Oh, yeah. It's so fun. Are you kidding? I feel like stuff like this, I've almost liked better than like the giant roller coaster sets lately, because you can just sit and do it for an afternoon. Yeah. I don't know if you get as much bang for your buck. How much was this? Do you know?
This, I don't know. I can't tell you. It was a gift.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But it was probably affordable.
Okay, then yeah. I would 10 out of 10.
And I would say if you're like, affordable is subjective, Sarah. I think this is a great decoration. So it's not even just a set that you build and then you like, maybe not display. This is meant to be displayed, so it's worth the investment.
You can also like mix it up with plants. It's colorful. I like that it's really compact, because I'm not gonna lie, when I was like, I'm gonna come over to build Legos, I was like, how am I even gonna get it home in an Uber?
Oh yeah,
this is chill.
I get you something with like a long neck that's just like, and you're like, oh my God. Okay, yeah, guys. Well, I would definitely recommend this set. And thank you so much for being on.
Dude, thank you. This is so fun.
Where can people find you?
At Snitchery, everywhere. YouTube at Snitchery, TikTok at Snitchery, Instagram at Snitchery. Twitter, X is kind of dead and gone, but I do have an account over there as well.
So you guys should follow. Everything will be linked below, as will the set. And thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. This is so fun.
This was so much fun. All right, guys. I will see you next week on Block Party. Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, perfect.
Hell yeah.